Ladies and gentlemen of the anime and manga fandom, it has begun. The great breaking of our time. I'm being dramatic, but you better believe I'm going to keep on doing it. Because Kadokawa, one of the largest publishers of Japanese manga and anime, has announced that they will now be publishing parts of their catalog in English themselves. When making the announcement, Satoru Miki, Kadokawa's manager of global business, said the following: Kadokawa decided to translate and deliver our works by itself. We will aim for simultaneous distribution at the same time as Japan. We will start with the published editions, but we will move on to simulpub of serialized chapters soon. To be fair, it's a select number of titles to start, and none of them are particularly big, but the intent, in my opinion, is obvious. Because what's left unsaid is it clear we're going to be bypassing our Western distribution partners. The Japanese offensive has begun, baby. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
What happens when the plug remembers that they are the plug? What happens when they realize that in the age of globalization and the internet, you can use digital distribution to send your product directly to your customer, no matter where they are? Third-party distributors aren't really needed. Third-party distributors that tend to tamper with the product when they think they can get away with it, even less. While they may have established distribution channels and whatnot, in this day and age, getting that sort of infrastructure set up isn't the gargantuan task it once was, especially when you're talking about the digital side of things. What we're seeing with this Kadokawa announcement is a company beginning to realize that they hold all the cards. They have the product that Western audiences can't get enough of. Western fans of anime and manga are fans of just that, anime and manga. We are the customers of Kadokawa and their peers. We consume in various mediums the product that they produce. Japanese publishers have to realize that Western customers don't pay services like Crunchyroll and Funimation because of anything that those two services produce. When their Western partners attempt to produce their own work, we end up with High Guardian Spice. These Western services only have the Western customer as a customer because the Western customer is already a customer of the Japanese publisher. The Japanese got that good dope, and they've gotten the West hooked. Now, let's keep the dope dealing references going because I'm liking this. I sincerely believe that Japan is getting tired of Western distributors fucking up the package and stepping on the product. They've seen Western distributors attempt to infuse Western agendas and censorship into the pure product. And every time they've been caught, there has been fan outcry in the West. Why should Western publishers be allowed to piss off their customers, and by their I mean the Japanese publishers, and potentially cost them, the plug, the real producer of the product, money? I believe that many Japanese publishers are beginning to realize a simple fact. In an increasing number of cases, one could argue that Western distributors are not holding up their end of the bargain. It's not their job to tamper with the product, to censor or suggest censorship, to change dialogue unnecessarily to suit agendas, etc. It's their job to take the Japanese product, translate or dub it into English while staying as faithful as possible to the source material, promote it to the Western market, distribute it to the Western market, the end. I believe that companies like Kadokawa are beginning to wonder if their interests and those of their Western partners are truly aligned. Moves like beginning to bypass traditional Western distribution for English translations of some titles and going direct to the Western consumer are a result of that. Japan is a meritocracy. Performance is king. Performance speaks the loudest. Numbers speak the loudest. The Japanese are in the business of making money. They maximize that money by keeping their customers happy. They let the market dictate what it wants more of. What good is a partner that may advise against a certain title or suggest changes be made to suit the Western audience when the very audience that they are supposed to represent isn't in agreement with those suggestions? How do Western anime news outlets and the distributors who listen to them look to the Japanese when they advocate against a title for whatever reason, whether it be character design, plot, whatever, only for that title to be a hit with Western customers? I mean, man, the Japanese must be masters of giving the side eye at this point. Once again, Japan is a meritocracy, and performance is king. Sales and streaming numbers are king. What good is a partner that may make suggestions or take cues from agenda-driven news outlets and ultimately cost you money? Just as importantly, what good is a partner that really wants to be your boss and from time to time makes boss moves with your product that pisses your customers off? Companies like Kadokawa have to be wondering, long term, are our interests and the interests of our Western partners going to be in alignment? I think the answer is no, and I think these companies, these Japanese publishers, are realizing that. When it comes to Western partners, these companies, I believe, are starting to ask themselves, do we really need them? And what would it look like if we did it ourselves? Successful corporations plan for the future. It can take some years to get distribution infrastructures in a foreign market ready. You need to take those first feeler steps sooner rather than later. And what does that look like? How about handling the English translation and publishing of some lesser known titles in your catalog on your own? Or how about partnering with a bunch of different companies to release anime titles on an officially licensed YouTube channel? 30 different companies with a goal of making over 3,000 titles available by 2022. Yeah, that's AnimeLog in case you forgot. And that bun is still in the oven and baking nicely. I'll leave a link to the channel in the description so you can check it out and subscribe if you aren't already. If numerous Japanese companies that are competitors, can get together to form an initiative like this, do you really think that developing their own streaming service is that far-fetched? Yeah, I didn't think so either. I'll reiterate. Long term, I don't believe the Japanese are willing to let their Western distributors fumble the bag for them. If Western partners can't be trusted not to fuck with the dough, then it may be time to make plans for a future without them. I truly hope that this is a watershed moment in the anime and manga industry, because ultimately this could end up being the solution to the problem of Western meddling we've all been looking for. To that effect, as Western fans, it's very, very important that we support these direct-to-consumer initiatives. Strong Western customer support will encourage Japanese publishers to go further, faster. Translated manga and subtitled anime brought directly from the Japanese publishers themselves is exactly what we need. Initiatives like these are what will keep the genre safe from Western companies that may no longer truly speak for the fandom. And I, for one, can't wait to see how these plans grow and develop. Man, I'll catch you on the next one.